We're going to move into our breathing apparatus. So we're going to look at common fire and emergency services breathing apparatus. Like I said, the most popular ones you're going to see are the MSA and Scott Pack. We still use the Scott Pack. That's really the one that I'm familiar with. I've used that in my entire career, even when I went to Santa Ana College's Basic Fire Academy. We use Scott Pack, and we've just gone to different variations of the Scott Pack, more advanced. But now you're seeing some departments go to the MSA. Not sure why, if there's a better reason, whatever. But agency specific on which brand of apparatus you'll use, breathing apparatus. So must be used while working in environments that are oxygen deficient or contaminated by chemical releases or products of combustion, also known as IDLH, immediately dangerous to life and health. Federal and or state or provincial regulations may dictate respiratory protection to be worn in certain work situations. And then your jurisdiction must ensure that your policies comply with these regulations. So some different types. You have air purifying respirators, supplied air respirators. Those are used in the hazmat world. We don't use them. Most of our personnel prefer to work in their SCBA because it's more comfortable. They're more familiar with it versus air purifying respirator or a supplied air respirator. So the SCBA is different than the scuba or self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. So they do function a little bit differently. But our SCBA is the most common one we're going to use. Although if you go into hazmat, you will see like a PAPR, powered air purifying respirator, or air purifying respirator, or even some supplied air respirators. And these are the differences in some of the masks that they have for air purifying respirators. They have filters on them. So the filters attached to your face mask, and it's supposed to protect you from breathing in harmful particles, vapors, or gases. Partially covers the face or fully covers the face, depending on which mask you have. And it can have a positive pressure fan within the face piece to keep the contaminants out if the seal becomes dislodged. Yeah, here's my personal thing. If we're going to go to this length to protect ourselves, I feel that the SCBA is better protection. Yes, it's on your back. Yes, it's heavier, but that's what we're used to. And we train a lot with our SCBA on. So for me, when we went to the hazmat environment, I would choose my SCBA over an air purifying respirator. The limiting factor with the SCBA is the weight of it. Does it really reduce your work time? And then also you're limited by the amount of air that you have in it. So this is the supplied air, where you have just an air line that goes to it, right? So it's got a regulator and it's got about 300 feet of hose. Again, the limiting factor on this is you're limited by the length of your hose line, okay? So this has an emergency breathing air cylinder for use if the primary fails, and it allows our responders to operate in hazardous environments without carrying a large cylinder, right? And that's the downfall of the SCBA, is you got the cylinder on your back. Our SCBA, okay, so this is a very common one. You have your backpack assembly, you have your bottle, and then you have your face piece and your regulator here. Okay, like I said, our regulators, as they come down, there's a connection in this line. So we have our own face piece, we have our own regulator, but the backpacks and the bottles, they stay in place with the apparatus that you're on. So this supplies breathable air from a supplied carried by the wearer. So your bottle is the supply of air that you have. Bottles are refilled with a cascade system. These need to meet the NFPA standards, and they're supplied by compressor now. They used to be supplied by cascade system, but we'll put the bottles in a compressor, shut the door, and then turn it on, and it'll refill our bottles. So there's two basic types, an open circuit and a closed circuit. The open circuit, it commonly used by our firefighters. So in your face piece here, you have vents. It expels the air out. Okay, so that's an open circuit. It expels the air out, and then your air that you breathe in is from your bottle. Closed circuits could be used by hazmat. We don't use a closed circuit in our hazmat. You use an open circuit. but your exhaled air gets reused by filtering CO and supplementing it with oxygen, right? So that's how that works. We don't use a closed circuit SCBA in our hazmat teams. We use the open circuit. They work great. Decon, so the SCBA should be decontaminated following each structure fire response. Should be completed on scene, and then SCBA stored in a compartment other than in the cab. So this is going to that clean cab concept, right? So you'll see that some apparatus, we still have apparatus where SCBA are stored inside the cab, but there is a big movement to go to a clean cab, meaning that everyone's SCBA is outside, and so are your turnout gear. So is your turnout gear. Firefighters should clean their SCBA when they return to the station to get any soot or other particles off of it. Let's see. A scuba or a self-contained underwater breathing apparatus may be used in departments with rescue divers. We have rescue divers. We also, our lifeguards are like a subdivision of our fire department. So they're kind of their own division under the Operations Bureau. So again, when you have a rescue diver or a dive team, they're going to use the scuba tank, designed to function underwater at higher pressures. Requirements are NFPA 1953, and it contains an air mixture designed for underwater use, and it's not should not be used as a substitute for the SCBA because they function differently. All right. Moving along to some tools and equipment, we're going to look at some of the common fire and emergency services tools and equipment, and then we'll take a look at ropes, webbing, and then other related hardware and harnesses. We'll look at how to safely work with ground ladders, the purpose of our fire hose, the nozzles, and then hose appliances and other tools that go along with it. So tools and equipment, they're going to aid us in accomplishing our objectives, our tasks, and our objectives at the scene. May include items used in the trades outside of the fire service. We steal a lot of tools from the trade industry, right? The logging industry. That's where we get our chainsaws. All right. So several different things like that. Most of our tools have come from different industries, and we've used those tools and adapted them to the fire service. So operations are going to depend on safe and efficient use of a wide variety of tools and equipment, safe and efficient. We train heavily on how to use these tools. In the academy, you're going to train very heavily on how to use the different tools and equipment. When you go to your department, same thing. All personnel should be trained. Actually, all personnel must be trained in safe operation and proper maintenance of all fire service tools and equipment. Our hand tools, they're going to be identified by their specific function. Are they going to be used for striking, cutting, prying? And then different types may perform similar fireground functions, and jurisdictions may prefer one style over another. So this hook that you see here is similar to a pike pole, but it's not a pike pole. So again, like same function or very similar function, but just a different type of tool. Okay. Some power tools that we have. This is our auto extrication equipment. There's different makers of this. Usually your tools are going to be referred to by the maker, but essentially you have a power unit. These are hydraulic. You can tell by the hydraulic hoses here. We also have battery operated tools for vehicle extrication. Spreaders, cutters. That looks like a smaller type of spreader. And then a ram, all right? So a ram is just used for like a pushing, right, or stabilizing. These are hydraulic. You have a power unit that has hydraulic fluid in it. It runs through these hoses and it powers those using the hydraulic fluid. Again, we've moved to a lot of battery-powered tools that are also pretty effective and pretty efficient. So these may be used for tasks such as vehicle extrication, structural ventilation. Don't really use these tools for that. Chainsaws for structural ventilation, forcible entry, rotary saws, and then also technical rescue. Ropes, webbing, and related hardware. So what you're seeing here, this would be common for a lowering system or lowering or raising system, right? You have ropes that come over, you have rope protection, you have different types of hardware that go along with that. you can use to raise, lower tools, equipment, raise, lower personnel, also victims. Some of the different types, rescue harnesses, that's what you'll put on if you're going to be raised or lowered. Carabiners, which are these metal locking pieces here, and you can use those to like group things together. Other related hardware are integrated with rope to perform technical rescue operations. So there's brake bars, there's different webbing, so there's tons of different rope equipment that you're going to learn about, and there's some new devices that are in there that are advancing our technical rescue operations. Ropes, they're going to be grouped by use. So utility is natural fiber, and it's not used for life safety. Okay, life safety rope, synthetic fiber, and it's used for what it calls for. It's used for life safety. So you don't want to put someone's life on a utility rope. All right, we want to use our life safety rope. Firefighters may use flat or tubular webbing from the same synthetic material as a life safety rope. We used to make our harnesses out of webbing. That's kind of gone away now that we have like pre-made safety harnesses. You still use a lot of webbing for in your operations though. May be used to prevent firefighters from becoming lost during search, right? So we can use a rope to perform a large area search, right? So we're hanging onto the rope so that we're not getting lost. It gives us a way out. Ground ladders, those are going to use to access points above or below the ground, not permanently mounted on the apparatus, so you can take them on and off. They may be carried on apparatus to the location they will be utilized. Again, and they're manually raised and positioned to provide quick access points above or below grade, hence ground ladders, right? So they're manual. And then manufactured as single or extensions of various length. Like I said, single has 2 beams in your rung. Your extensions are going to have a fly section and a bed section. The fly section is actually going to extend using a halyard or a rope to pull it. Could be wood, could be fiberglass, could be aluminum. There are departments in the LA County area that use wood ladders still. Not all do, but some do. And then you have a lot that use aluminum ladders. So there's your ground ladder, straight ladder, extension ladder. So this is 2 sections, right? Your bed section, your fly section, and here you have 3 sections, right? And so it's going to be the taller ladder. This is what we call a low shoulder carry, and this is what we call a high shoulder carry. So on these 2 bottom pictures. Our fire hose, nozzles, hose appliances, and tools. Our fire hose is manufactured in a variety of diameters and lengths. They're usually in 50 or 100 foot sections. Supply hose is generally used to carry water from a source to an apparatus or a pumper. So that's your supply. It's supplying the engine with water. Attack lines used to deliver water from a pumper. So you're attacking the fire. So that's why you're using the attack line. So here's a hose complement. You can see your hose in the bed. That looks very much like supply line. This may be 2.5, could be supply line as well, 1 3/4 here. And then you see how your hose is connected, all right? So hose is manufactured in diameters ranging from 3/4 inch to 6 inches, usually consists of rubber interior liner with a rubber or woven fiber outer covering. Threaded or unthreaded couplings are used to connect. We generally use threaded couplings, so it's going to be agency specific. That's used to connect your hose together, or also you can attach sections to your pump or attach nozzles using these fittings or other using these threads or other fittings to your nozzle. For nozzles, I'm going to go ahead and stop this video here because I'm going to run out of the time for these short sections of video, and then we'll come back with one more video for nozzles.